Hello, I'm Jeremy Vine, and this is Panorama. 10 months on from the killing of Rhys Jones, a murder that opened the country's eyes to the menace of violent gangs, we find a generation growing up with guns.
My little friend, like, in a way, like, it's gotten me out of a few sticky spots.
Get blasted, lad.
The police have had to adopt confrontational tactics, meeting force with force.
It's simple. They need to walk away from guns.
Even former gangsters are trying to turn the tide.
Do you want to live or do you want to die?
I'd rather not die.
And parents fear for the future.
They're not afraid to die. They are what they are. It's not going to end. It's definitely not going to end.
Panorama goes to Liverpool tonight, a place with much to celebrate this year, but which shares with other cities a disturbingly violent subculture. Their numbers may be small, but the teenage gangs who fight turf wars in rundown parts of the town are having a devastating impact, putting young lives at risk and threatening to overshadow Liverpool's much-needed regeneration. So why are they doing it?
Liverpool, European Capital of Culture 2008. Gleaming skyscrapers have transformed this historic waterfront. After years of stagnation, it's been boom time. I was born here, and for years have been writing about another, darker side to the city. The organised crime and gang culture that exists away from the shiny new centre. This time, I was returning to find out about the teenage violence and guns that have been blamed for the killing of Rhys Jones. I travelled first to North Liverpool, near where the innocent schoolboy was shot dead last August. It's an area plagued by crime and gang violence on some of the poorest estates in the country. By night, it doesn't take long to find the gangs. Dressed in their uniform, identical black hoodies, worn to hide them from CCTV cameras. Some of these were as young as 13. This gang's called the Dovey Heads, and they were only too keen to abuse their rivals in nearby Page Moss.
Why do you hate Page Moss so much?
It's the scumbags, they rob our women. They rob anyone who's got anything, they'll rob it. You little maggot, a stick and knife line your head, you fart.
Though some of this is just bravado, in large groups they were intimidating, and I'd soon find there could be real menace in their threats.
Fluffy bastard!
By day, I could see how the different gang areas were right next to each other. On one side of the road was Dovecot, the territory of the Doveyheads gang. On the other lay Page Moss. And it was in these streets that I made contact with its gang, the Mossheads.
Yes!
Most of the gang members were still in their teens, but many already had a string of convictions for serious crimes.
Stop the camera!
Our leading member of the junior gang is just 14. We'll call him Lee. He's already been sent to a school for excluded children. When I first met him, he'd just been in a fight. How come you've got blood on your hoodie? Did you hit someone?
No.
I've
done a thing, lad.
Lee was wary of outsiders. He lives with his mum and 4 brothers and sisters. His eldest brother is in jail for attacking someone with a knife. Lee's mum is terrified that he's going the same way.
You can just see it coming with them all. You know, it's all come to a head. There's little gangs here, there's little gangs there. They're not backing down from them, they're not backing down from each other. And, you know, you don't think your kids can pick a gun up or a knife. You wouldn't think that they could do that, but I know for a fact they would.
Lee's parents split up 8 years ago, but his dad still lives locally. He says the young gangs have taken over Page Moss, attacking, even burning the homes of those they dislike and driving them out.
It's not our area anymore, it's not the adults area anymore, it's the kids area. They say who can come in and who can't come in. If they don't like anyone's face, they make sure he's gone.
That night, I talked to the gang as they wandered the estates. Lee's dad wasn't exaggerating about their readiness to use violence.
Get him now!
Get him!
A group suddenly ran off out of sight. It turned out that the gang, armed with golf clubs, had gone off to attack someone they knew.
Get him!
Throughout the time I'd be with them, I'd see how much casual violence was part of life. The older members of the gang were making money from what they called grafting, what you and I would call crime.
How do the lads make the money around here?
Use your head, lad, your initiative, innit?
I mean, is it burglaries or drug deals or what?
Everything, innit, lad?
And what are the lads selling? Are they selling cannabis or cocaine or...?
Obviously everything that goes around, isn't it? You can get anything you want, no matter what.
I saw cars pull up and deals done. But that night, I didn't see anyone carrying a gun. They were keen to show me the latest videos they'd filmed on their mobile phones. At first, it was all bikes and dogs. Then, it got more serious.
That's a Sten gun, isn't it? Is that on your firm or...?
Yeah, so all these are.
All these.
Every one of them, that's why they call the moss.
That is quite a heavy video, isn't it?
Across Liverpool, gangs film their exploits and post them on the internet. They openly display a fearsome array of illegal weapons. It's a way of showing off and of reinforcing gang identity.
Their gang is everything. That's their family. That's their main family. It's their own little army. They have little generals and all like that. They'll back each other up to the death. Right to the death. I know they will. I know they will. That's the way the kids are now.
For young members, gangs, crime and the rewards on offer are also seen as a gateway to another world. Since I left Liverpool 15 years ago, the city centre's been transformed. Its clubs, popular with footballers and their partners like Alex Curran, are full of young people with cash to spend. There's been a flood of new money, and with it has come the bling and the celebrity lifestyle that gang members told me they aspired to. The contrast with some of Liverpool's estates couldn't be starker. These are the poorest parts of a city that remains Britain's most deprived, areas largely untouched by the capital of culture. Here, crime can be seen as the quickest way to buy into the glamour. Many of the country's most infamous organised criminals grew up in the city, the wealthiest held up by some as heroes, even after they're shot down.
Yeah, this is a floral tribute to Derek Stevens, who was killed at the wheel of his golden-coloured Range Rover. Being involved in organised crime in this community is a high-status job. A lot of people have spent thousands of pounds on buying flowers and have come here to pay their respects.
Was it craving this sort of notoriety that made younger gang members turn to guns? Today, even established figures are wary of the new generation. Kenny Rainford is a former gangland enforcer turned security boss and no stranger to violence. But in recent years, he says he's seen the underworld hierarchy turned on its head.
In my day, it was very, very rarely heard of that disputes were sorted with a gun.
And what's changed?
Nowadays, it seems the commonplace.
Young gang members tell us that guns are just like mobile phones now.
Yeah, they seem to be out there, don't they? They're walking around like two Bob Rockets ready for the fuse to be. They're so wound up, so angry with life. They're shooting someone's easy way out now.
Get a picture of that at guns on out of
A few nights later, I met up with Lee and the Page Moss Jr. gang at the caravan they hang out in.
How you doing? What's going on?
Get the out of me caravan! What?
You a joint?
I am doing a reefer now.
For them it was a normal night, smoking cannabis and playing violent video games. I was shocked to find that one of Lee's friends had been shot for real when he was just 11.
Have you ever been shot at?
Yeah, I've been shot.
Was it a proper bullet?
Of course it was. You see the size here. There's a dad. This like, as it come past, it went, whoa, it skinned me leg.
A few days later, the boy's elder brother would also be shot and injured over an incident of name-calling. This lack of fear and willingness to settle trivial disputes with firearms has left established figures feeling weary. Their way of resolving disputes with organised fistfights, called straighteners, now belongs to another era.
Straighteners are out now, they don't happen. You know, they resolve issues in different ways now.
How do they resolve them these days?
Read the papers, they just go and shoot one another.
More floral tributes on the streets, this time in Norris Green in North Liverpool. The victims of gang violence aren't just the members, it's also their families and communities. I'd come here to meet Donna Smith, the mother of a local gang member.
Oh yeah, I'm great. You alright?
I always thought I'd go before my kids. Never thought my kids would go before me. You know, they took my baby off me. And no mother should have to go through it. No mother at all should have to go through it.
Donna Smith's family and friends have come to pay their respects to her son on what would have been his 21st birthday. Liam Smith, known as Smigger, was part of a gang from Norris Green called the Nogger Dogs. 2 years ago, he was visiting a friend at a local prison when a trivial row broke out with an inmate who was a rival gang member. Insults were exchanged, and within minutes, a gunman had been summoned using a smuggled mobile phone. As he left, Liam Smith was shot in the head at point-blank range. His mother found him in intensive care in hospital.
Blew 3/4 of his brain out. Never seen blood out of anyone like that in my life. It was like running a tap. I was begging him to wake up. Pain's horrible. It never goes away.
Liam was only 19 when he was killed.
Why should he have to go round with guns? I'm not saying Liam was innocent, but he didn't deserve it. Nobody's child deserves to be killed like that.
But Liam's death only sparked a wave of tit-for-tat violence and was glorified in the videos of his gang, the Nogger Dogs. And that night on the streets of Norris Green, his young associates seemed resigned to endless, futile battles over their turf.
These streets, I mean, what you can see is boarded up houses and derelict streets.
Yeah, that's just a dead place everywhere.
Why would you want to defend this part of Norris Green?
We're from this part of Norris Green, isn't it?
But is it worth dying for or being injured for?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, Paul.
So you'd spill your blood for Norris Green?
Yeah.
But there's a whole world out there, you know. You don't have to spill any blood, can you? You can be like every, you know, a normal person and go and get a job.
How old do you want to live, mate? But think about it, even if you're not like this, you could still end up shot tomorrow. Like, there's kids like Reece Jones. What did he have to do with it? Nothing. He ended up dead.
If you weren't in a gang, you wouldn't have to watch your back or you wouldn't have to watch your mates back.
Well, to be honest, I don't even know what to say because this is how we've grew up. This is how we grew up. This has been our whole lives, hasn't it, really?
It really has been their whole lives. In some parts of Liverpool, generations have known nothing but unemployment. Whole families have been scarred by alcohol, drugs and crime. In this damaged world, some youngsters quickly climb the criminal ladder. Through a go-between, I arranged a meeting with an older gang member. I didn't know his name or who he was. In his early 20s, he already saw guns as a part of daily life.
My little friend, like, in a way, like, it's gotten me out of a few sticky spots. I mean, I'm the oldest out of like a family of 4, you get me? My arm man isn't there and shit, so I've always had to like be the head of the family for them, innit? I had to like step up in it and then like take to the challenges and that a bit more to make sure that I look after myself and my family.
He provided for his family by dealing cocaine and running prostitutes, but it meant living in fear of his life.
So you've got to be permanently
on guard
and ready to use your gun if necessary.
Most definitely, like, you know what I mean? I'm always on the alert there. But like, I'm a hustler and I'm a grafter, you get me? So obviously if I'm going in on man's turf, you get me, then there might be a couple of stray licks getting thrown about. Don't want no beef, don't want no trouble and nothing like that, but the scenes of folly and line of work, innit?
Preach!
Your briefing tonight, your firearms briefing will take place in...
To combat rising gun crime, Merseyside Police have set up a special squad called Matrix.
The last 7 days, we've got 5 firearms discharges.
Though violent crime has fallen, in the last 4 years there's been an average of 450 firearms incidents a year on Merseyside. Last year, per head, only Manchester, the West Midlands and London had more.
They're ready, they've got the warrant, they're ready to go. Intelligence.
Today the Matrix squad is mounting a raid for guns in North Liverpool, trying to target known offenders.
What type of gun do you think is in there?
Don't know, the intelligence doesn't say that. All we know is somebody has taken a beating. Somebody has then decided to up the ante and has then decided to go to the next option, which for these people is trying to source a firearm.
They're able to seize anything they believe might be the proceeds of crime. Tonight, they don't find a gun. They're often buried or hidden in safe houses around the city. But they do confiscate more than £3,500 in cash. It's intended to keep up the pressure on key players.
We have warned these people, we have said, we know that you are involved with guns. If you do not walk away from that, we will use certain tactics to disrupt you. And if they want to get away from that attention and that focused attention from us, it's simple. They need to walk away from guns.
The police are using tactics successfully developed in America, targeting ringleaders and disrupting their lives over even minor offences. They hope this will reduce gun crime and in turn show the street gangs it doesn't pay. But the cycle of crime and gang violence isn't so easily broken.
I do what I do down there because I ain't got no qualifications or nothing like that, you get me? Like, I got kicked out of school in it when I was 12. I've been to the job centre and that before. All these people want qualifications and that. I'm not going to be no chicken packer and shit like that, you get me? It's just degrading. Not going to catch me doing shit like that when I can do a nice little hustle on my own front door.
The gunman told us he was dealing drugs to students, clubbers and other middle-class users, and he said he was making big money. Recent research on a sample of young people in Liverpool found that more than half claimed to have taken cocaine.
How I live now, like, gets me through, you get me? Like, the end of a week, man's looking to come up with a nice little 4G at least.
£4 a week?
At least.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
But it's better than what it'd be on if it was working.
To combat the armed violence associated with gangs and drug dealing, Merseyside police have been taking exceptional measures. Using powers of stop and search, so-called Section 60s, as well as massive shows of force to try to disrupt criminals as part of a new operation. We're following a police convoy. It's called Operation Neon. It's like going on the beat, 2008 style. It's a convoy of police armed to the teeth. It will shut down all the plans by the gangs for the night. Can't move guns around and you can't mess about on the corner. The streets are empty. But though the police say they're successful, operations like this are expensive and their effects can be temporary. In some areas, fear and intimidation mean no one dares to involve the police. Instead, powerful local crime families often take the law into their own hands. Lee's father lives in constant fear of reprisal for his son's actions.
Now it depends who you're upsetting. Now with the big families, they take it on board and they'll come and see you and warn you. Now if it happens again, that's it, your windows go. If it's dead heavy, as in machetes and all like that, it could come down to a payment. You pay my compensation for my lads for being hurt and all like that.
Despite the continued police presence, Lee and the Page Moss gang show little fear of arrest. They openly bait and abuse officers.
Here it is! Here it is!
Talking to people here, it seemed to me that the heavier tactics had also alienated many.
You are the future of this city. It is about friendships.
So the police are also adopting a more community-focused approach.
You own your own behaviour.
You own your own behaviour, okay?
Officers like Robbie Pritchard work hand in hand with local schools and other agencies like housing associations and the social services to try to help those families most in need.
The elder ones, maybe some of them we may have lost. In the real world, we've got to understand that there's only so much you can do. Maybe if one thing goes wrong, you can get away with it. But if the education side and maybe the parenting side and maybe a couple of other things go wrong, potentially you've got a bit of a problem then, and it's how do you get back?
I wondered whether for Lee, at 14, it was already too late. What's the best way of making money? Robbing? In Lee's world, there are few positive role models. Instead, the young gangs want to emulate the biggest and richest criminals. One of them was Stephen French, a former world kickboxing champion who became a major player in the Liverpool underworld. He had used violence to steal dealers' money and now accepts his part in introducing guns to the city's drug trade in the 80s.
I was a devil. I was called a devil and I was a devil. I had a reputation for serious violence. What could the skinny drug dealer do to protect himself against a guy like me? I'll tell you what he did. He armed himself. He got himself a 38 revolver, which instantly equalised him against me.
Now, after his own son was shot, he describes himself as a campaigner against guns. Did your ma tell you about the devil?
What?
You're going to have a meeting with the devil. Lee's mum agreed to let me take him to meet Stephen French. She thought he might be the only person he'd listen to.
Do you want to live or do you want to die?
Live.
You want to live, yeah? Are you scared of dying?
I'm not scared, but scared in a way, but I'd rather not die.
I'm not scared. I'm still not scared of dying, do you get me? But I try my best now to avoid the problems. When I was your age, I was well on the road to being into the gangs and all that and doing the things that you're doing. I thought it was great. I thought the lifestyle of a gangster, the money, the girls, was all sweet. But what it is jail, death, despair, and your ma left crying. Do you know what? The one thing you haven't had yet, right, is one of your crew killed. Do you get me? And you won't know what it's like until it's happened.
French lost his partner in crime and best friend, Andrew John, when he was shot after robbing a drug dealer.
I'm not saying that you're making it happen. It's just happening to you. Because I know you want better things for yourself, don't you? What these young men lack is self-belief, some development of their own self-worth. They're lacking that, and they get that within the gang. They get that within picking up the firearm. Yeah, that gives them importance. That gives them power. That gives them self-worth. This is the illusion of the gang. You don't want that for you, do you? It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible even to look at, isn't it? It's just nasty. And the best thing we could do to him is get him a 10 grand monument. Come on, let's go.
Shock tactics, but but I wasn't sure that Stephen French had really got through to Lee. And a few days later, there was a new shooting for the Matrix team to investigate. This time, it was Stephen French. He was shot at 5 times, but escaped uninjured in circumstances the police say aren't clear. It plainly wasn't easy to walk away from guns. And back in Page Moss, it seemed that no one wanted to. Even the junior gang members were claiming to have access to firearms. How many guns have you got stashed in this area?
6. Around here.
In back gardens and of houses which you lived in?
No, not what we live in, just other people's.
And what kind of guns are they?
Shotties and that.
Fear of violence keeps the local adults from reporting the gangs, and I was told it's the younger gang members who are actually the most aggressive.
The kids terrorise the older ones. We don't need to go near them, the kids do that. These terrorise them.
Why is it done by the younger kids?
Because they love it, don't they? The kids aren't they? They haven't got a clue really. It's changed now since when we were kids from the way the kids are now, lad. Let me tell you, mate.
What's changed?
And everything, lad. Everyone wants to blow your head off.
And gang activity in Page Moss is increasing as the summer approaches. The following evening, one of our team was invited to meet an anonymous gunman at an arranged place. Boys on these estates are growing up surrounded by gun culture. I didn't know if the guns belonged to him.
Nah, I'll take no shit. Nah, the beef comes out to get blasted, lad.
But it's hard to imagine any quick solution when this sort of weapon is in the hands of a teenager.
They're not afraid of the system no more. The kids will get arrested, the kids will get shot, the kids will get put in jail, they'll come out of jail, not deterred one bit, and start again. Once they've grown up into their own generation and they can't handle the kids no more, their kids will grow up, but they'll be stronger again.
You're not going out, you all down, go upstairs and stop asking me, can you go out when you're grounded? I go out, what does grounded mean?
Lee's 9-year-old brother had recently been arrested for the first time. Growing up in a world of guns, he seemed destined to follow the same path. His mother says she doesn't want the outside world to forget what's happening to families on her estate.
We can all point the finger at someone. I mean, do you think I like my son going out and picking a gun up and shooting someone else? I brought him up like that? I don't think so. You know, people can look into this. People don't live in these estates. People don't see, you know, how we live. There's a lot of other agencies out there who could have seen this coming years ago and got the foot in years ago. And now it's a big deal. Now they're throwing everyone in the deep end. And it's just all going to blow up.
Lee's mother ending that report from Liverpool, a city determined to tackle the menace of violent juvenile crime. And we should point out as well that Donna Smith, who was interviewed earlier in the film, has since died. We should stress, of natural causes. Next week, our GP's surgery is going the same way as small post offices, while many doctors say we should fear the latest health service reforms.